Good morning, everyone. Martha Ermias here, coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio. How's everybody doing? Good morning, good morning. Today is Thursday. Exciting, getting closer to the end of the week. Today I will be talking about something that is very dear to me. Good morning, Tolde. How are you? I hope you're doing great. Hi, Yoski. Good to see you. I definitely will give you a call later. I'm sorry I didn't call. Hi, Dawitom. How are you? Good morning, everyone. Hi, Fitzum. Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Martha Ermias, and I'm an entrepreneur. I live in Columbus, Ohio, and very passionate about personal growth, entrepreneurship, and contribution. Hi, Amanu. Good morning. Pat, good morning. Good to see you. Good morning, everyone. Today, I will be talking about something that I've learned in the last year and a half. And the reason I chose to talk about this topic is because a couple of people have asked me a question, and their question was, "Can you please talk about how you can change your personality?" And that kind of intrigued me to discuss about this topic today. And the reason why I think people, and one of the things that I felt as I read those questions is my own struggle with trying to change my personality for a while. Because I think all of us, we realize that we're, butting heads with people and, having some conflicts. And, sometimes we question whether or not the way we go about things is correct or not, like we become very critical on ourselves, and other people may be critical on us, and we don't really necessarily feel very good about our personality. Or sometimes we could be irritated about other people's personalities, how they go about things, what they do, and that could be a very confusing situation. And as I always say, I think not all, but most of our issues and problems come from a problem with people. And if we are going to be successful, we also need people. So people, and our understanding of people and how to get along, is one of the most important topics that I think all of us needs to study. And I want to share with you my personal journey in that effect. So about a year and a half ago, I attended, not a year and a half, towards the end of 2016, I attended a Danny Johnson seminar. And I went there. It's called First Steps to Success seminar. And the reason I went there is because I wanted to learn how to become successful in business, okay? Because she's a business trainer. And what I got out of it the most was I learned how to work with people, okay? It wasn't really necessarily how to, different skills about marketing or, management, leadership, and things like that, which was part of it. But the most that I got out of it was really how to work with people. Now, she has a session. She has, and she's really known for that. She has a session that she teaches on different personalities. And what that does is, number one, it deepens your understanding of your own personality. And it makes you accept yourself at a deeper level, which is something that I really didn't have. Some of the weaknesses that I had in terms of my personality, I didn't like them. And I always tried to change them. However, what Danny Johnson's conference did for me was that I started to accept myself. I started to become more gracious towards myself, and I started to understand myself in terms of why I do things the way I do it, and it also, but most importantly, it allowed me to understand other people. Okay, I'm going to share a little bit about the different personalities today, and those people who know me in person, they know that I talk about this all the time because it's one of the things that really helped me in my life, and one of the things that it was really an eye-opener. It's like it was an aha moment for me to learn about that. And not only that, in the last year and a half almost, it has helped me in many ways in my life, in my relationship with my family members, friends, as well as in business and things like that. So I really think this is a very important topic for everybody to hear. Obviously, what I'm going to be sharing with you today is not going to give you the entire perspective, or because it's a half-day training that I took, and you really want to dig deep into it. And what I will do, if you are interested in learning more about it and you want to read on your own and things like that, I am going to make a post in my private Facebook page today and provide the link as well, where you can really research and learn about it a little bit more. So if anybody is interested, after today's message, if you're interested to find out more about it, I'm also going to provide the link to my private Facebook page, and go ahead and ask to join, and you will find more information in there. Okay, so let's dig in. So the number one thing when we talk about different personalities, well, first of all, because this message was inspired by questions that I got from a few people they asked me if I could teach on how to change personalities. Well, the bottom line is, even if you try, you can't change your personality, because your personality is a gift from God. You were born to become the person that you are. Your personality was given to you. You are wired to think in a specific way. You are wired to do things in a specific way. You are wired to be motivated in a specific way. You are wired for a purpose, and your personality was created for a purpose. So there's no need to change your personality. I think what people are trying to find solutions for is the things that don't allow them to get along with other people. Okay, that's the question. How can I become more harmonious while keeping my differences? How can I get along with people? How can I accept myself? How can I accept others? And still, without compromising my goals, visions, aspirations, mission in life, how can we work together? That's the question that people have. But they think that the solution is to change who they are so that they can be like other people and there's less conflict and they can be harmonious. But that's the wrong way to go about it, and it's impossible also, because your personality is your nature. You're born that way, and there's different personalities, and it's supposed to be cherished and enjoyed, as opposed to challenged and changed. And you really can't change it, or you can't even change other people as well. However, there's a better way to go about it. Well, first of all, if this is the people that say, what can I do to create more harmony? How can I work with other people? How can I make my personality increase value within the workplace or family and things like that? People may have that question, which is a good question. They want to improve themselves so that they can find better results. On the other hand, some people don't even see that there's a necessity or need to do that. But you can see it in the fruits in their life. What happens is they're always in conflict with others at work. They're always in conflict with others in the family. And you'll find, if we really don't tackle with these things, it's very important to really understand these things. Then we find ourselves complaining about other people, what they're doing, what they're not doing, how they're doing it. We're talking about other people and complaining about them. And 50% of our time, maybe more, is spent gossiping about other people. And one thing, guys, when we do that, it actually has a negative effect on us. And it disempowers us and really is not helpful in life when we do that. We are supposed to be problem solvers, not complainers. The habit of complaining is actually a very toxic habit, and it makes you feel helpless, and you don't really do anything to resolve problems. You're just talking about it, and it becomes a habit. And a lot of times our complaints have to do with people, and we're complaining about people. And all of this is coming from lack of understanding of ourselves, and lack of understanding of other people, and lack of understanding of how we work harmoniously with other people while respecting the differences. Okay, so there are four different, even though we all have different personalities and we're really created totally different from each other, there's four major categories. And this is Dani Johnson's teaching. Actually, it's not just her teaching, it's really everywhere. There's a lot of leaders that teach this. although each one of them have a little different tweak to it, but it's pretty much similar. But I really love the way she teaches it, because it, I've learned it before when I was at work, but it was more impactful when I learned it from her. There are 4 general categories where people fall under in terms of their personality, based on what they like to do in life, what motivates them, what's important to them, their communication style, and really what they like, basically, how they're wired, their thinking process, what they focus on, what's most important to them. Based on that, there's 4 different categories of people, and those 4 categories, even though they're different from each other, most of us have a little bit of everything. Like, it's not like if you're in one category, then you don't have the other characteristics or traits, but you may have everything, but there's 1 or 2 categories that are very dominant in you, and you can really see yourself be like falling under 1 or 2 categories more than the others. Okay, so guys, if you really like to hear about personalities and what I'm talking about today, please give me some likes and let me know that you're here and listening to this. I really appreciate you guys doing that. So there's 4 different categories based on really how we are wired, and the 4 different categories, I'm going to talk about them very briefly. It's kind of like a little bit deep, but I'm going to talk about them very briefly, based on how we're motivated and how we're wired. So there are 4 different categories, have 4 different names. First name is called Sapphire. I hope you guys can follow me. I'm going to try to make it really quick. There is Sapphire, and there's Pearl, there's Emerald, and there's Ruby. Okay, this is just names to differentiate between the 4 different categories. So the differences between these 4, okay, and as I'm talking, you probably may kind of recognize who you are in terms of those different categories. The differences between the 4 are like this. Okay, Sapphires, what motivates them most is fun, having fun, basically enjoyment. What this means is that even when they're like working on a serious project, they like to have fun as they're working on those projects. They want to really like laugh and joke about, like socialize. They're very people-oriented people. By nature, they're very people-oriented. They like to work with people. They're very spontaneous, and they're very creative. Sapphires are very creative. Their mind is very creative, and they're also very spontaneous. Basically, they like to do things like, at the moment, very instantaneous. They're also the best promoters. If they like something, if it's something that they believe in, they will really promote that thing. They will talk really positively about that thing. So they're best promoters in that sense. They're also great delegators. They're very good at delegating tasks to different people. In terms of the way they like to dress up, that you will see them dressing up in very bright colors, and you'll see a lot of trendy accessories and jewelries and things like that. The way they dress up is very expressive of who they are. And again, we said a lot of Sapphires are very artistic. They're very creative in their nature. They enjoy working with people. They thrive in group environment. They're very social. They don't like to work in isolation or by themselves. They really enjoy it if there's other people involved in it. If you want to encourage and love a Sapphire, you really want to encourage them by encouraging them and by recognizing them. Encouragement and recognition really works well to motivate a Sapphire. And the other things also about Sapphire is they, in terms of their communication, they tend to think while talking, because they're very social, very they like to communicate and talk with people. A lot of times as they're talking, they're thinking. So basically, it's not like they think and talk. It's like you will find them talking and thinking at the same time. So these are Sapphires. They're very spontaneous. What they don't like is they don't like too much rules. They like to break the rules a little bit. You'll find them say it doesn't always have to be that way. Why can't it be? They don't like restrictions. restrictions or if you try to box them, they don't like that. They like freedom. They like to be spontaneous. Because they're like that, anything that's too much of rules and structure and things like that doesn't work for sapphires. A little bit about their weakness. They tend to be a little bit less organized. If you go to the office of a sapphire, you'll see the messy paperwork on their desk. They tend to be a little bit late to everything. They're 10 minutes late to everything. They tend to be a little bit rebellious because they like to break rules. Sometimes if you don't know how to approach a sapphire and you're telling them to do things, they don't like that, so they don't respond very well to that. So they will rebel against it a little bit. Okay, let's talk about the second kind of personality, which is a pearl. Pearls are, they call them the heart of the organization. They act and live by their heart, their feeling. They're motivated by a cause, helping others, helping humanity, making the city clean. Whatever cause that's bigger than them, that's what they're motivated by, the tendency, as opposed to sapphires who are motivated by fun. For example, for a sapphire, if you tell them that, oh, we're going to have a lot of fun, they will come to a meeting or an event. Pearls, if you told them that the reason that we're doing this is to help cancer patients, pearls will be motivated to come to that meeting. So they're motivated by cause. And they're very thoughtful, considerate, and sympathetic and nurturing in their nature. They're like mother-like when they're dealing with people. They appreciate personal touch. They have long-term relationships. They're very, very loyal. They love to serve others. They thrive in serving others. They're very dependable. And if you want to love them, spend time with them. Quality time is a big thing for pearls, and listening to their stories of their experiences and things like that. So pearls are very soft-spoken. They are all about helping others. They tend to be, again, nurturing and very loving and caring, because cause and helping others and serving others is really the main trend that really drives them. A little bit about their weaknesses. Because they don't like confrontation. Confrontation is a big thing because they like to keep harmony, because they're nurturing in their nature. They like to keep things in harmony. They don't like, because confrontation, they feel like it's going to disrupt everything. So they don't like confrontation. So which means that they tend to not deal with negative stuff for too long. They let things go by. And then they could be a little bit of enablers, because they don't like confrontation. They could be a little bit of enablers of negative stuff as well. And pearls don't like change, because they like comforts, they like the, nurturing. They're a little bit resistant to change because, again, they don't want to disrupt things. So those are a couple of the weaknesses that I can think of for pearls. And third category is emeralds. Emeralds are motivated by facts and figures. Emeralds are very detail-oriented. They like to analyze information. They enjoy instruction. Very opposite from sapphire. They enjoy instruction, rules, and structure. They thrive in instruction, rules, and structure. They're very organized and they're planned out. Okay, they're not very spontaneous. They like to think. They like to plan ahead, like really plan ahead, and really process information before they make the decisions. They're making decisions. They're always looking at, very analytic. So they look at the pros and cons of things. Okay, they really try to analyze that. They're very precise and accurate. Okay, they like to be accurate. They like to be very precise and very analytical. They're researchers and they're thinkers. They're deep thinkers. They're very dependable. And if you really want to appreciate an emerald, you want to keep the house clean and tidy. So basically, they like a lot of structure and things like that. Weaknesses of emeralds. Because they like to be accurate and precise, they tend to be perfectionist, okay? And somebody asked me if perfectionism was a weakness, and it is. And I think we can talk about that another time. But perfectionism can hold you back. So they tend to be a little bit perfectionist. And because they like to thoroughly think and very loyal. They're very loyal. If they're committed to something, they're going to see through it. Because they're like that, they tend to overthink things, and they tend to take time before they make their decision. So they could be a little bit slow in taking action. And perfectionism also, they tend, I mean, they're going to finish, they're going to accomplish the job, but it can tend to take longer only because they take time. And they're not very, they also see, because they're very fact driven, they tend to see things from a black and white standpoint, which can make them, being judgmental could be one of their weaknesses. They could be a little bit judgmental because they think they see things from a black and white perspective. They're a little bit analytically driven. So that's emeralds. And ruby is the fourth character, the fourth category. Rubies are motivated by challenge. Anything challenging, they want to make sure, because rubies want to win all the time, okay? They are motivated by challenge. They're very powerful and authoritative. They're very strong leaders, bold and outspoken, extremely confident. They're risk takers, okay? They like to be in control. They're natural winners. And if you want to appreciate a ruby, you want to recognize their achievements. That's how you really motivate them. So rubies are your leaders. They're born leaders. They're very bold, and their communication style is short and specific. They don't like process. They're always on the go because they're very sensitive with time. You will see them accomplishing things. They get things done because they're not afraid. They don't overthink things. And they don't mind taking the credit for it. They don't mind being in public and being recognized, because winning is a big thing for rubies. And a little bit of their weaknesses, they can be a little bit insensitive towards others because they're very achievement and success oriented. So they could forget the human part of the human part of what do you call it, like just going about things. They're very project oriented, so they can forget the human part, which may make them seem like they're a little bit insensitive. And again, because they're very competitive and they like to win, they can forget others on the road, like in the path. Like they can be a little bit insensitive about people. Okay, let me see what other weaknesses. I don't really write this down. But yeah, I think rubies can, immature rubies could be a little bit arrogant and a little bit egoistic, okay? And impatient. They're very impatient also because they want things really fast. They can be a little bit impatient. So the reason, I'm sure, if you really dig deep, you're gonna really understand yourself and where you fall in these categories. The reason we really need to study this is really for a couple of things. Number one, we will know how we are wired and what motivates us, which will help us really accomplish the things that we want to do based on our personalities. It will be easier for us to accept ourselves and thrive in what we can thrive on. Number two, it will help us understand other people and motivate them in their own language and how they're wired, as opposed to us trying to enforce their personality. That's going to be another helpful thing. But most importantly, it will create, as you accept yourself and accept other people, it will create harmony. And even though we're all wired differently, you can still work with each other in a very harmonious way, which will help you in everything in life, in your family, in your work environment, in your business, in your leadership. It's going to really, really help you by understanding how this whole thing works. And then the other thing is also, because you understand your strength points as your given personality and your potential weaknesses, it allows you to see yourself from that perspective and you work on your weaknesses. The whole point is like all of us start at a specific point, and maybe the weak points or our weaknesses could be really, really blocking us from our own success, that personality weakness that we have. Like, for example, some people are extremely perfectionist, so they don't really finish anything because they want it to be perfect, right? So if they understand that, okay, as an emerald, I'm a perfectionist here, and perfectionism is not good. So my natural tendency to be perfectionist, I need to let go of it a little bit, you know? So you know what to work on in terms of your own weaknesses, which will allow you to be refined, you know? And again, you don't change your personality, but you become more refined in your own personality. And that personality is beautiful. It's created for a purpose. So we all need, like, the 4 personalities we need them in this world. You need them in business, you need them in the workplace, because they complement each other. If you can see, as we were describing them, they're kind of like whatever is a strength of one is a weakness in the other one. So they complement each other. Because they complement each other, when we work like in harmony with other people by using that complement to actually benefit us, we can all accomplish great things together. Okay, so again, I brought this to answer a couple of questions that I got on how to change your personality, and my answer is you don't change your personality. You don't have to change your personality, but you have to have a deeper understanding of yourself, how you're wired, what motivates you, what your strengths are, and work on those strengths and use them, and what your weaknesses are, work on those weaknesses so that they're not a stumbling block to you and to other people. At the same time, understand other people as well, and then know how to work with them. So that's about it, guys. And if you really find this helpful, please go ahead and like it. And if you feel like it's worth sharing, go ahead and share it. And most importantly, I'm gonna go ahead and include a link to my Facebook page where you can click into enter, and then I will be posting a little bit more about what I just talked about today, and so that you can personally learn from the source, who's Dani Johnson, in terms of this personality, the different gems that we talked about. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until I see you tomorrow with a different topic, please go ahead and make it a great day, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.